Fan Sports Podcast. Let's get it. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam. Sean on the mic, very flat too. Keep you updated, that's what we do. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam.
Yo, what to do, everybody? It's your boy, John Altidor with Pro Fan Sports Podcast. Back at you with another one. I'm finally back with both my guys, Vlad and Barry. What's going on, fellas?
Not much, man. Good to have you back, Barry.
Appreciate it, guys. Good to be back. We're excited to be back and be here on the podcast with y'all. I know I missed the last couple of weeks, but definitely, it's good to be back and good to be on the pod and be able to chop it up with you guys. I definitely missed being on the podcast, but I see y'all been holding it down and doing your thing, especially last week with Brandon Robinson, Scoop B. So that was a good episode, y'all. Definitely did a good job and did your thing on that. So, that's what's up. That's what I like to see.
Yeah, man. Apparently, Barry hasn't been living the B-Money lifestyle, man, which he's just been on the grind, man. He's just been working. But, yeah, man, glad to have you back, Barry.
Appreciate it.
For sure, man. Before we start anything, just make sure you guys are subscribing to the channel, liking and commenting on the content that we got. We really appreciate it. Make sure you're sharing it with your friends and people that like sports, man, especially Boston sports. And with that said, man, right now we got a couple things going on as far as, Boston sports. As of yesterday, I believe the 18th, the Celtics, they didn't use their TPE, right? Their player exception, the money that they could have had, to sign somebody, and they decided to forego that. So that's what's going on in the forefront. Did you guys notice that? Were you guys hoping we signed somebody with that money?
Yeah, I was hoping that we would. They talked about it so much. It was like, we got this TPE, what is Danny was gonna do with it? Now it's what's his name? What's the new GM now?
Brad Stevens, man.
Brad Stevens, yeah.
What was Brad Stevens gonna do with it? But once I saw that he didn't use it till yesterday and people were talking about it, I was like, there's no way he's gonna try to push something through to today. Unless he was working on something already, there was no way he was just gonna make something happen just to make something happen. You know what I mean? So It's unfortunate that he didn't use it. It would have been nice. I think a couple of weeks ago I was talking about how it would be nice to add another big man to the team, a big man on the bench, especially with Robert Williams getting injured, Tice being shipped out. It would be nice to have a secondary big man on the bench. But I don't know. Free agency is not over, and Brad's been working his little magic, so let's hope he can keep doing that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think, wasn't too surprised about them not using it, just because it had gotten so close to, the date, the July 18th, and there were really no, signs or indications that they were going to use that, TPE, the trade up player exception. Was hoping maybe they'd pull something off at the last minute and be able, to either get another big or, maybe another, shooter, another wing that, that can shoot and be able to make shots. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. And, and they weren't able to find any, deals on anyone that was worth, using that, TPE for it to be able to, acquire them, in the trade using that. But I mean, Brad has clearly been, doing his thing and, making, good moves so far this offseason, or really since he's been the GM. So, definitely, trust and have faith and confidence in whatever, he decides to do. And I guess he must have decided that, what it was best not to use it and just, let it, go to waste. So, yeah, I'm okay with him not using it as much as would have liked to see him use it. And, I'm sure that they'll be able to still get the, guys that they need, get another big or another shooter and be able to, you know, be able to get what they need to finish off the rotation and the roster, since there's plenty of time in this offseason. The offseason is still young. So, yeah, I'm sure that Brad will be able to make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think, I think Brad's going with the smart route. Don't just like use it just to use it. Because I believe, he probably would have to make some kind of trade, or, sign somebody that can come in and help the team out. And, right now teams are looking to get, the upper hand on people trying to make trades, especially the Brooklyn Nets right now. You see what they're doing with KD and Kyrie. So, you know, the team's not terrible, right? We still got some time to do some things, and free agency's not over. We still got some people out there, man. But although Summer League just ended, the Celtics didn't make it to the championship game. They finished the Summer League 3-2. We had some good developments with the young guys, and there's not much going on with the Celtics right now other than the TPE that just went by, and but the Celtics were in the news. Not the Celtics, but Boston was in the news. And, I'm sure you guys have heard it already. I'm talking about, LeBron's comment on the Boston's fan. I believe, LeBron was on his show, his talk show, The Shop. And, they asked him about, what place that he doesn't like to play or something along those lines. And somebody asked him why he hates Boston, and he replied, because they're effing racist. And,
Racist as fuck,
right. And I wasn't trying to swear, but
no, I hear you. I feel you.
right. But I mean, it's not something we've never heard before. But with LeBron being who he is, arguably the most popular athlete in the world right now, it created a firestorm. And I know we've talked about this before on this platform, and now it's come around again. I'm sure you guys heard it. What did you guys think about the comments and about LeBron making it at the time that he made it?
I just think that Boston has a troubled history when it comes to racism, period. Like, not even in sports, just racism in general. And they have a troubled history when it comes to racism in sports. So I think, as much as I think a lot of people are angry and are saying, why is he saying that? He's just saying what everybody has been saying. I just think that your history follows you, no matter how much you might try to run away from it. And it follows you until there's real change and that people really act differently. You know what I'm trying to say? So I just think that although LeBron might be, a lot of people might feel that LeBron might be saying that just because people have been saying that, not be, it doesn't take away from the fact that Boston is viewed that way, and that us as sports fans in Boston need to do better when it comes to the way we treat athletes in general. I mean, it wasn't maybe a couple of years ago that we talked about this, and we talked about our own experiences, and it wasn't even LeBron at the time. It was somebody else. I can't even remember right now, but there's a lot of athletes that's come to Boston that's either being called the N-word or just not treated the way that white athletes are treated in Boston. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I wasn't too surprised about LeBron saying that on his podcast, The Shop. I feel like that's the general perception of, players around the league, particularly, the high-profile players in the NBA. I think that's certainly how the majority of them feel, and I feel like that's, really why, Boston up until, recently has had trouble getting, free agent players that, are Black and African American to come to Boston to play for the Celtics, because I feel like a lot of guys, feel that way and reciprocate those same feelings and, and opinions that, LeBron does. I think, it's unfortunate that, it is, a racist, city and, in many ways, not only in sports, but out of sports. And, it's something that, it's been, like we previously talked about many times on this podcast. It's been a, pretty big, issue that, has happened forever. And as far as long as we've been, and even well before our time. And it unfortunately doesn't seem to be going away as of right now at the moment. So, it's something that I just hope that, us, fans, us Boston fans can get better at it and improve and, be more classy. Like, I get that, we're very passionate, fan base and will, say anything and do anything to give our teams an advantage and to try to, affect the other team and throw them off their game and, to help us win. But at the same time, they shouldn't be, crossing the line and doing anything to, that's, offensive and insulting. So, and they've had, they've done that in many cases. So I think we just have to, be better as fans to, we can be, passionate for our team and root and cheer for our team, but, also gotta be, more classy and, respectful towards the, the other teams, the opponents that our teams, play against. So I think you definitely need to, to work on that and, and to get, continue to get better at that moving forward.
Yeah, I think I agree with Vlad a little bit. Sometimes like history kind of like follows you, and I wholeheartedly agree with that, right? But at the same time, I do think, sometimes your reputation is what it is, right? And people will say things based on like reputation or what other people have said, right? Oh, don't go there. They might be, their race is over there. But it's like they've never had that experience there. You know what I'm saying? And so when I heard the comments, it's not something we've never heard before. I just thought, I just feel like right now it's like it's kind of like a trend a little bit. It's kind of trendy to say that about Boston a little bit, and I go back to his comments and everything that he was saying, right? And when he said it, he's because they're racist as fuck, right? And he talks about how he goes back to he's had beer thrown all over him, and they've had shirts that said F LeBron, and he feels like, the team store has sold these things. And to me, it's like, well, is that racist? If I'm dropping beer on you, does that mean I'm racist? Or if I say F LeBron on a shirt, is that racist? Because I know a lot. I mean, I have one of those shirts in my house, You know what I'm saying? Does that mean
It's funny
like,
because I have one of
like,
those shirts too, John.
You know what I mean? Like, does that mean I'm racist? Like, I understand. Like, I think our fans are definitely disrespectful, right? Definitely disrespectful. You know, you saw that with F Draymond. You know,
Yeah, in the finals, yeah.
In the finals, and you know, man, they go hard. They come hard. You know,
and Aisha Curry can't cook.
Right, Aisha Curry can't cook.
And
but
that's
are these things
the bar in Boston, right?
Exactly. Are these things racist? I don't think so. Am I saying there's no racism in Boston? Obviously, there's racism. Like, we've all experienced it here. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I feel like sometimes it's kind of trendy. If you're gonna tell me Boston's racist, please tell me. Give me the exact moment something happened. Tell me what happened. Tell me what somebody said. You know, Marcus Smart said something that he was coming out, you know, of the garage, and some lady was walking by and he was trying to help them out, and the lady said, you know, F you N-word, and like kept moving. I'm like, oh, that's definitely racist. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna jump on this thing, tell me how you've experienced that. You know what I mean? Like, don't generalize. Especially, like, I just don't like the generalization. Like, Boston is racist. Is there a few people in the arena that's probably racist? Like, out of 17,000 people, I'm sure there's a couple racist people.
Yeah, of course.
Is that only in Boston? I don't think so.
Not. No.
You know what I'm saying? And I think my only issue is the fact that these players jump on it as if, like, Boston's the most racist city in America. And I'm like, that couldn't be furthest from the truth. You know, and I think that's where I have a problem with it.
I mean, I disagree with that point. I think he doesn't have to experience it himself to not want to be here and to know that Boston.
If you're gonna say that about a whole city, you need to tell me, like, what happened.
No, it doesn't matter. If I hear that they're lynching people in North Carolina, I don't need to experience lynching for me to say I don't want to go over there and that they're racist. I can still say that North Carolina is racist because they're lynching people over there. I don't need to experience a lynching myself. So if he's hearing from Marcus Smart that Marcus Smart is experiencing the racism, he doesn't even have to be here to experience it. He just has to say, oh, such and such player experiences, such and such player experiences. I don't want to go there. I think as much as Boston, I don't know if we can quantify which city is the most racist, but because of its history, I just think Boston is always going to suffer from that consequence.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but like, with the whole Marcus Smart thing.
Yeah, but I don't think you don't have to experience something yourself to know that thing is happening.
Right. Yes, exactly. So are all the cities in America racist? Yes. And my problem is, like, it's not portrayed as that. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the...
But there's one city that has multiple time over and over made players feel that way. So that's going to follow you because you've made players feel that way over and over. I'm not saying other cities don't do it, but because you're one of the cities that always comes up whenever that happens because of your actions, you just suffer.
And I think it's the stigma, you know, and that's why I said, like, yo, like, don't just jump on it. You know, that's why, for me, I feel like, yo, I need to know what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it, you know.
I think all you need to know,
personally, like, I need to know, like, if you're going to say that, you know, on a nationally televised thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, I need to know. And he's going to tell
you Marcus Smart experienced it, and that's all you need to know.
Marcus Smart experienced it, one person. I've been called the N-word by one person. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean, like, the whole city.
And he plays here, and he's one of the most loved players here. So
right,
LeBron was not even from here. Why is he coming here? Like, he's just like, I don't want to go over there because of the stigma that this place has. And I'm sure other people as well, but he doesn't want to go there because of the stigma that this place has.
He doesn't want to go there, but he owns a percentage of the Red Sox too.
That's money. Like, we all buy BMW, Mercedes, or
I don't have a BMW.
I mean, we don't, but we all like those cars that participated in Nazi. We don't say anything about that. So we consume products that are affiliated with racist people. We don't say anything about that. So when it comes to money, I don't think we can go.
That's a great point.
In Boston, but because we consume Gucci or Louis Vuitton, and those we've noticed those companies have racist tendencies and they've done racist things, and we still consume them. So it's not about, when it comes to investing your money and making your family right, I'm not saying that you shouldn't look at, but if we start looking at every single company that has a racist past or racist or a anti-Semitic past, then there's a lot of companies you shouldn't be supporting.
Yeah, I feel like, me personally, I definitely do my homework. I'm not wearing nobody racist. I'm not doing none of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I hear about it, I'm not doing that. You know, and that's where I think I'm coming from. But it's like the Red Sox fans, they're the same fans as the Celtics fans. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, it is business. It is business, right? But does LeBron have enough money to do business anywhere else in the world?
And he probably does. And when he does.
So to me, I'm just like,
he owns a part of the Fenway groups, and that team. No, hold up. That team.
Yawkey Way.
No, that team owns. That team owns multiple different sports team, and also the Boston Red Sox was owned by a racist guy. So, like, I don't think it has to do. I don't think it's about, you know, investing money in something that's racist. I think he invested money in a group that he found an opportunity in. I don't think, but for him to come and live in the city and play for the city, he probably just doesn't feel appreciated for that. And I'm not saying LeBron is right, and I'm not saying he's, I'm not saying that his intentions are the purest and that he's just, but I just think that when you have a racist past, I just think it follows you, and players are gonna say that, and sometimes you're the one that has to work hard to fix that.
Yeah, I mean, it just annoys me because I feel like you're just jumping on something, you know, and that's why I said, give me some, like, bro, you live in LA, they literally wrote the N-word on your house. You play for the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the whole thing about the city. It's like, to me, I'm like, dude, that's one of the, like, you literally, somebody spray painted the N-word on your brand new mansion. You know? But then, wow. I don't know, man. I just feel like, and it goes back to Kyrie too. Like, Kyrie was here. You know, everything was great. Oh yeah, I'm gonna sign back up here if you'll have me. Boom, leaves to go to New Jersey, and then all of a sudden, oh, they're racist. It's like, Kyrie, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, don't just say that because that's, you know, been a part of, you know, like, the history, but like, give me something tangible. You know what I mean? And I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like it's unfair, you know, to just generalize with the whole city. That's where I'm at with it. And it definitely made a lot of, you know, waves. And then, you know, after that, he went along to say something nice about Jason Tatum, you know, and that.
Of course.
Because I'm like, okay, now you want to say something nice. And I don't know, man. To me, it's, I wish more of the players would say something. Like, if our players are experiencing that, I want them to come out and say that. You know what I mean? Not just Marcus Smart. If it's that, you know, if that situation is happening all the time, like, I want to hear about it. You know what I mean? Especially from our players. And you know, I mean, also, like, in 2022, man, like, people are self-policing in there. You know what I mean? I feel like if somebody comes out of line, somebody's saying something in the arena. You know what I mean? Like, I've been, you know, in places where somebody was racist, like here, and I didn't have to say anything. Another white person just, like, went up and was like, what the hell are you doing? You know, come to my defense. And, you know, to me, it's like, yo, there's racism everywhere, you know, and, you know, I just, dislike that. It is our history. I don't like it. But I think things are definitely changing, and it's not like what it's portrayed to be. That's where I'm at with that right there. But I'm sure. I feel like every year something like that comes up. Where another athlete is saying something, and they don't really come up with the with an example of what they're talking about. They just say it, and then boom, Boston is back in the news. But hopefully Boston is going to be back in the news for signing a new player. Before during the off season, which I'm sure they'll be doing. But thanks for giving your opinion. Yeah.
No problem. Real quick, I don't know if y'all heard about about what Tory Hunter said, the baseball player that
that he would rather be traded anywhere. You can trade me anywhere except for Boston.
Right. He told his agent that no deals to Boston. Don't send me, don't trade me, or even negotiate, with Boston at all. Like, that's not even an option, right? That I'm not even considering that, right.
Because and to me, I want to know
the racist background that supposedly he, perceives that Boston has, and that he doesn't want to be a part of, or play in a city that what I'm saying, has those kind of people who treat their players and their opposing players that way.
Yeah, and that's his right. You know what I'm saying? I can't say.
Of course it is. Of course.
Like, hey, if that's what you feel, that's what you feel. Like, if you believe that, this is such a racist place, don't come. Don't accept a trade to it. You believe this is such a racist place, like, don't own part of the organization, man. But that's my opinion, man.
Maybe it was the first opportunity he came up, and he's always said that he wants to get into ownership after he's done playing in his playing career. So he thought, he just, like you said, Vlad said, he looked at it as a business opportunity, as an investing opportunity to, pretty much get his foot in the door and, becoming an owner and in ownership. So when he does retire, he can, be able to continue to work on that and focus more on, on being an owner,
on ownership and stuff. Yeah, I get it. But there was also this other video that came up of Lebron a few years ago that said, I've heard other athletes say it, but me personally, I've never experienced it in Boston. I've played in Boston plenty of times. So to me, it's like, so what happened in the last few years that all of a sudden it's so fucking racist? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's just a contradictory thing in my mind, anyway.
You don't think players have told him? Maybe players have told him.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, yo, don't jump on it because everybody's saying it. Like, I need to know.
Not everybody's saying it.
Anyway,
it's a fact. I mean, it's not everybody saying it. If players are coming to you and telling you that this is what they experience, that's what they experience. So why am I going there to experience the same thing? I don't need to go through it to know that it is. I've been told.
Right.
Why am I
right. But I'm saying the way he said it was like he experienced it himself, and he didn't give specific reasons. He did. He said because it's racist as fuck, and he didn't. Okay. And he said, and the reasons he said had nothing to do with racism. The reasons that he brought up had nothing to do with racism. They threw beer on me. They had LeBron James T-shirts. LeBron's a bitch. It's like none of these things are racist.
Well, throwing beer at him doesn't help. Wearing the fucking T-shirt is whatever. They probably do that.
Throwing beer, that doesn't help. That's disrespectful as shit.
Throwing beer at him doesn't help the racist thing. I mean, if he's hearing it already from players that are playing here, what's the point of going away from that narrative when I go there, people are throwing beer at me? I'm not going away from that narrative. I'm going to jump on that narrative and add to it because
and that's exactly what I'm saying. You're jumping on narrative
because narrative. It's not a narrative that's not true. It's a narrative that we all know is true. So why wouldn't I be more in favor of the narrative when I go there? I don't Beers is being thrown at me.
I just think it's a narrative that Boston has, but I don't think everybody's coming in here to experience that narrative. Is what I'm saying. Like,
And
play
nobody wants to
like
come.
I just need it.
And players don't want to come here and experience that either. And we just
Like
had two
sports play,
players.
they're
We
here
just had
all the
two
time.
players.
You know,
We just had
Kendrick Perkins just said, like, I've never experienced any of that.
we just had
You
two
know
players this week that just said the same thing.
who?
We just talked about it. Lebron and the other guy that just said they don't want to come here because it's racist.
No. These are comments from years ago. Tory Hunter's comments from years
Yeah,
ago.
that was
He's
from
been,
a while ago. That was
yeah, that's from a long time ago.
Right.
And the other thing too they like to bring is Bill Russell. Bill Russell, you know, even Bill Russell said it. I'm like, Bill Russell played in 1956. You think there was racism around then?
Of course there was.
You think he didn't experience that everywhere that he went to?
Of course he did. He experienced it every night, every game that he played, every time
everywhere.
he stepped on the court.
But Bill Russell was also the first black player to be hired as a head coach in Boston. You know, but you know, we could have this conversation forever. I'm sure it's gonna come up again, like we said, man.
I'm sure we'll
have it again.
That says it. Another NBA player or professional athlete that mentions it, right?
Yes, sir. You know, we're at 30 minutes right now, but I did wanted to get in a little bit about the Patriots. You know, that rookies actually reported for training camp for the summer as of today. You know, they went in, and the vets come in next week, and you know, football season is about to be upon us in a couple months, fellas. You know, any thoughts on the Patriots and what you're looking forward to for the, you know, training camp coming up?
I want to go to at least one training camp, I would say, and I want to see.
Y'all want to go to the training camp together?
Yeah, I think we should talk about that.
Yeah, we can do that.
I want to see.
Yeah, set something up.
But yeah, my bad. Go ahead, Vlad.
I think the most exciting thing I'm looking forward to is Mac Jones and seeing the progress he made from last year. Obviously, I want to see what the defense has, but I'm not as excited as I am about seeing Mac and seeing the improvement he made. It looks like he put on some muscle, seeing if he has more zip on the ball, seeing what kind of also seeing what kind of what kind of relationship he has with the receivers. I know he's been working with them during the offseason, seeing if he developed some partnership with, you know, some of the receivers and the tight ends. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely, you know, looking forward to this training camp, you know, for a number of reasons. You know, I think there's certainly a lot of, you know, I mean, there's a lot of good things, you know, with this team, you know, to be excited about and to look forward to. Like, you know, Vlad just said, you know, starting with, you know, Mac Jones going into his second year, seeing, you know, the growth that, you know, he's made. You know, we know that he's put in a lot of work this offseason. So, you know, we're hoping that he can translate that into training camp and you know, and as far as the season goes for them. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to, you know, seeing how the receivers look. I think there's going to be a good competition and battle with, you know, at the wide receiver, you know, position. You know, they, you know, drafted Thornton, you know, in, I believe the second round, you know, the speedster. So hopefully he can be able to contribute and, you know, be that deep threat that we needed. They got Devontae Parker, you know, in the trade, you know, with the Dolphins. So, you know, hopefully, you know, he'll be able to, you know, to contribute and stay healthy and, you know, and have a good camp and really get off to a good start with you know, with this team, you know, as well as the rest of the receivers, even Nelson Aguilar. I want to see in year two if, you know, he can really, turn it around and be more consistent and get it, together and be a lot of more productive since, he had a down year with us. I know he was banged up most of the year, but, hopefully, year two is better for him than last year was. I'm also looking forward at the tight end position with, not only with John Smith, but also who's going to be like that third string, because we know what Hunter Henry brings to the table, and he's certainly a guy that had a good rapport with Mac Jones and had a pretty, productive season with the Pats, particularly, becoming one of the better red zone targets that they've had. So I'm looking forward to seeing if, John Smith can, get it together and, be a lot better this in his second year than he was last year. And then if the rookies like Asiasi or Keene can step into that third string tight end role and, and see, what I'm saying, if they can be able to really find any sort of, role, any sort of consistency in, in the offense, and also gain the coach's trust. And then just lastly, I'm looking forward to seeing the linebackers. Like, I don't know what they have at linebacker apart from Juwan Bentley and these guys have drafted. I want to see, what I'm saying, who's going to step up, who's going to, be starting, who's going to get most of the snaps, who's going to really, stand out and really get, our attention. So at that position, because there's really, there's, like I said, there's a lot of uncertainty and unknown at that position, and we really don't know, who those guys are and, and what they can do. So I want to see what those guys, are going to be able to do starting in training camp. And, those are certainly the things that I'm looking forward to with this team, and we'll keep my eye on as training camp goes along.
Yeah, absolutely, man. There's a lot of storylines, that's going to be going around the Patriots this year. And I think, one of the biggest ones is the coaching positions, and I think for me, that's like one of the biggest things I'm going to be looking for, because it seems like, we're just taking parts and trying to glue it together here, with Matt Patricia and Joe Judge coming in. That's what I'm thinking about. Like, what are these guys here to do? How are they going to help out Mac? I think Vlad said he wants to see what Mac looks like. And I feel like, as a second-year quarterback, I think we all know that Mac is a smart quarterback, but he's still in his second year. And I feel like you might be doing him a disservice, to not bring in a guy that has experience at offensive coordinator or at least, coaching quarterbacks, and has extensive experience with it, because Josh McDaniels was one of the most experienced offensive coordinators in the league, and he's no longer here. So I think the biggest thing for me is the coaching situation going on, and like Barry said, the linebacking core, right? We have other than Juwan Bentley, we're going to have a brand new linebacking core. There's nobody that's been starting for us in the last few years that's left in that, Of course, we got like Matthew Judon, who did really well, but that's not really the position he's playing, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's playing off the edge all the time.
Yeah.
We're talking about like middle linebacker. We got a lot of unproven players. I want to see Raekwon McMillan, because I believe he was doing a real good job until he got injured last year.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see this Cameron McGrone kid. I want to see Ronnie Perkins. I want to see all those guys and see, if our defense can improve. Because last year, man, we were like a sieve. Guys were running all over us and we couldn't stop anything. So, we had a guest scheduled this week that we could have talked a little bit more in depth about the Patriots, but unfortunately he couldn't be here. We're not even going to tell you who it is. So, it can be a surprise for the next episode.
Should we just tell them it's a former Patriots player?
Former Patriots player, former Super Bowl champ. You
Right,
know,
right. You can
a
say
former
that.
Super Bowl champ. That's all we can tell you. You know,
Right,
so
right.
hopefully you're tuning in to the Pro Fan Sports Podcast next week for the next episode. You know, but until then, make sure you guys are following us on social media. We're at Pro Fan Sports on everything except for Instagram, and that's profans_sports. You know, like I said earlier in the video, subscribe, like, and comment to the videos, and we appreciate your support. Until next time, y'all.
Your
Peace
one
out.
last question. How do y'all feel about Matt Patricia being the guy that's most likely going to call the offense, and Joe Judge kind of being Mac Jones' like assistant, just focusing on working with Mac Jones? Just your quick thoughts on that.
We'll talk about it next week, Barry. So we
Okay.
out of here, man.
With our guests, right. Well, we'll
Yeah.
I'm sure our guest knows a lot more about Matt Patricia and Joe Judge than we do, so I'm sure he'll be able
A
to
little bit.
inform and
Since he played with
elaborate
it.
on us with that.
Yes,
So
sir.
I'm looking forward to that.
All right. We out.
All right. Have a good week, everyone. See y'all next week.